So now you're ready to get started. But before you do that, let's just make sure you have everything in the kit. You should have the glass magnet instructions. You should have 2 pieces of Tylano imaging paper. You should have 1 foam brush, 1 piece of wire, 3 earth magnets, 3 glass tiles, 2x2, Tylano medium, and Tylano antiquing paint. Now you're going to seal the image and you're going to seal the tiles by applying a little bit of the Tylano medium onto the surface. So I usually dunk my brush about 1/2 inch into the medium, and I just apply it in a nice even stroke over the entire surface of the image I want to transfer. For this display, we're just doing the half sheet, much like I've just done right here. Nice clean even strokes over the surface, and don't overwork the image, because if you do that, it'll lift the ink a little bit. So now we're just going to let that dry, and I'll take a little bit more medium and apply it onto the glass tiles. And what I like to do is go in a crosshatch technique to make sure I get a nice even glossy coat over the entire surface. So left to right, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, and then that one's done. Your medium's dry, now you're ready to cut your image out. So I've already cut out 2 images. I'm just going to do this last one here. And I like to use an X-Acto knife because I can get a nice clean cut. A nice 2x2 image that I had photocopied of the twin girls here. So there you go. The image is ready to be transferred. I've just cut it out, and that'll be the next step that we show you. Okay, now you're going to take your image and transfer it onto the surface of the tile. Take a little bit of the medium and do the same technique like you did to seal the tile in the other step. And just do a nice crosshatch so you have a nice even coat of medium over the surface. Then you have a couple options. One, you can just take the image and lay it face down, but since this is glass, you get to see the image from the other side. So just take the tile, lie it down face down, and I get to see the girl's image come right through. And then I like to pick it up and just make sure it's centered. There you go. So now I'm going to let that dry for about 4 hours, or you can actually put it in the oven for about 15 minutes at 175 degrees. Now we're going to reveal the image. This is the best part because you get to actually see what you've created. I'm going to take a little bit of water and just dab it onto the backs of the tile on top of the transfer paper. If there's regular paper, just rub and rub and rub and rub away the residue paper and you'll start to see the image. But since we're using the Tylano image paper, you get to see the image right away. A little bit more water on this one. And I usually like to let the water sit on for about at least 15 seconds. You can let it sit longer if you like, but usually the water is a bit of an aid. The more you let it sit, the easier the peel. So those ones are done. And now I just peel it right off. So the image is gone and it's transferred onto the glass. Same thing with this one. The image is gone, image is transferred onto the glass, and you can see you now have an image transferred onto a piece of glass, and if you put it behind white, you get to see it. But here's a trick. This one, I actually left the paper on the back and haven't pulled it off. So you have the option, you can actually make it transparent so it'll take on the color of the background, or you can leave the paper on the back and just sand the edges, and you have a transfer done. That easy. Now we're going to seal the back of the image using Tylano medium. The reason we're going to do that is because we want the image to stay transparent so it shows the color of the background. So take a little bit of the medium and just do a crosshatch, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, left to right. Just do that a couple times. Let it dry for about half an hour, and then you're finished. Now we're going to apply a little bit of antiquing paint onto the back of this tile. The antiquing paint will give a nice white background to the surface of the image. Take a little bit of the antiquing paint with a dab about 1/4 inch. Just brush a nice even stroke on. There you go. It's coated. Now I'm just going to let that dry for about 1 hour, and then I'm ready for the next step. Okay, now you have your ornamental that's dry with pleasure. Okay, now you have your ornamental. It's dry on the back, and I'm ready to mount the magnet onto the back of the glass tile. Take a little bit of medium, a little dab will do you. Apply it in the center. Take the magnet, lay it down, and make sure you ooze the medium out to the surface of the edges of the magnet. I see that I have a nice ring of medium running around the surface, and now I just want to let that air dry for about 12 hours, or I can put it in the oven at 175 degrees for about 15 minutes to half an hour, and just let it air dry after that, and then you've got a good strong bond. So your glass ornamental has been transferred. You've put the magnet on the back and let it dry. There you go. Your glass ornamental magnet complete.